Alright guys, so we are back out in the shop today. It is Friday. Guthrie's over here working on the tan truck. He just put switchbacks, or made it to where you can put switchbacks in both of the bottom bulbs. So I think he's already done with that. But we're messing with the first gen. I took out the the cargo light. I'm working on taking these handles off. Again, I mean, I've never messed with handles on a first gen, so taking this thing off, figuring it out. And I took this mirror off on this side. I want to go ahead and say thank you to you guys, because a lot of you guys commented on that, and I did not, wherever those, I don't even know where I put them. Oh, they're right here. Whenever I was looking at these things, I didn't realize that you could put a sock on them. I just thought they were round, so there for a couple minutes I didn't know what you guys were talking about, and I looked closer and realized that I was mistaken, and it ended up being a 3/8. I put the 10 mil on there and it was too loose for my likings, and 3/8 fit right on. So just for future notification, or future notice. But yeah, thank you guys for that. We're gonna try and get some of this stuff off, because I don't know, I just want the paint to be nice and flat and not have to worry about this stuff. And should definitely take off handles whenever you do paint. I got a question for you guys though. What do you guys do about the drip rail? You can see it has this chrome stuff on here, which I do like the looks of this, and I'd like to have this on here after it's painted. But it's really hard to get down in here, which I mean, I guess I can, but it's just gonna be a lot harder. I didn't know how to go about this, or whenever I paint it, if I should just tape it off and make sure I get around it really good. But that is where we're at right now. I'm gonna work on both door handles, getting those off. And since tomorrow's Saturday, we're gonna have, hopefully it's decently nice, and have some free time and get this thing all wire wheeled and have the sanding finished, so we can start doing some body work. And like I said, the majority of that's there's a little bit that needs done on this door. There's a little bit that needs done on this fender and that fender. I'm sure there's a little bit that needs done everywhere, but majority of it's going to be right up here, up front, from this about right here forward to right here. And then that door, I'm sure we're going to find a little bit, but I'm going to have to find someone who can fill the holes and everything. As I mean, Keller could for sure do it, but we don't have the welder to do it, and everything's pretty much shut down, so he can't use whatever he would normally use. So we got to figure that out, and then once we get that, I mean, we can start doing a lot of stuff, because then it's just body work and then getting it done. So we'll be moving along on this thing. I'll catch you guys back up later. All right, guys, we got the locks and handles off. It's not really too big of a deal. I mean, again, it's just bolts through the back, and then you got to mess around with this little clip for the locks. But thing that first gen doors are notorious for is cracking and stuff like that. So I believe Brad at Savage Fab, the guy that does my turbo work, he also, I want to say that he does, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he makes plates for the back side of this to reinforce it. If it's somebody else, please do comment below. You first gen guys will know, but I have seen them, and I could have swore he did it, but it might not be him. We got those off on both sides, so really, whenever it comes to taking stuff off, that's all I needed to do, because I'm going to leave the rest of it. I got to double check that and just kind of give it a walk around. But yeah, so mirrors are off on both sides, handles are off, the cargo light's off. Definitely not hard stuff, just stuff that I hadn't done yet and kind of forgot about. So I got to be careful with these doors because I won't ever be able to open them up again if I'm not careful. So, or well, this back glass. No, the back glass actually has a lock deal on it, so gotta be careful. But yeah, making a little bit of progress. I'm gonna just probably mess with stuff maybe at the engine bay a little bit tonight, and then worry about the rest of it tomorrow whenever I can back it out and I know I've got enough time to get everything done. So we're gonna hopefully get an actual legitimate video tomorrow instead of a shop update. But yeah, we'll see what all we mess with tonight. Okay, so you guys have seen me, you saw me put this 12 cm housing on the H1C. So this is the HX35 housing that you need to swap on to get a better spool up and whatnot. But you guys, and if you haven't seen that video, go to my playlist and look at that video because you'll catch yourself up, then watch this video. But I broke the ear off down here, as I was saying, off of this turbine, or the bearing housing. And I've got a good bearing housing from an H1C sitting here, so we're gonna swap that out. But I'm gonna try, you guys have seen me take it off, I'm gonna try and get away with leaving the turbine housing mounted. And then we will undo these screws, or the bolts, not screws, I don't know why I said screws, but undo both drain, or the feed and drain, the intake here, and these bolts, and loosen all those up and pull the front half of it out and leave that mounted. So all we have to do is, well, I'm gonna clean this out real good with some brake clean and double check everything, and then slide the bearing housing on and then put our compressor housing on there. And that might be a little hard if it doesn't slide out right, because I have never taken these bolts off, so it might not come out tonight, we'll see. But the bolts on the back side of the H1C housings are very hard to get off, so we're gonna try to get it off, but if we can't, it'll be for another day or something. But we'll get started on it tonight. Guthrie got his stuff wrapped up. We are still out here shooting with the GoPro and a little bit with my phone. I just wanted to show you guys there's some very small differences between the non-intercooled H1C and the intercooled H1C. Just in the design aspect, you can see this one's a little bit more square of a housing. This one's round. The tops up here, oil feed, it's got that, and this side's just got the circle versus this big design. So a few small things. The drains are the same, but yeah. So I'm just swapping over some stuff and getting some new stuff out of my little thing of parts that I've got here. But yeah, I don't know, I've been looking at stuff, looking at the turbine wheel, just deciding what I need off what and what is going to work best for the time being until we get one of those HY35s over here all done for the first gen. But yeah, needless to say, if I've got turbo crap everywhere, some up there, some scattered across the floor, the big girl, a few different ones. So if I had a housing to put this 67 millimeter turbine wheel into, I would, but I don't have a housing, so can't use that. Can't use the big girl. So yeah, we're just putting stuff together here. We'll get it done. All right, guys, so as you can see, we have the H1C backing plate up here on the vise. I wanted to show you basically what we're swapping out. So I've got my old H1C bearing housing right here off of the old first gen, and believe it or not, it's coming in handy. I never ever in a million years would have dreamed that, but it is. But we're going to use that bearing housing, but the old turbo, or the turbo that's on the 89, is leaking oil like crazy. I don't know how it didn't run away on its own oil. It's that bad. So we're cleaning out everything we can. But I did have a new C-clip or whatever. I don't know what exactly to call these, but I know that this is what was bad, I believe. I don't know what all is in there for oil seals or what. I've only rebuilt like one or two H1Cs, not near as much as HX35. So I forget what's in here. We could probably look at it or be able to tell just looking at it, but as you can see right here, there's nothing holding the oil in, so I believe it is that C-clip, because right here on the back of this is our oil deflector. So I would say that this is what keeps the oil in right here. So we put a new C-clip on there because it was worn out, and we've just got some random parts from my old H1C rebuild that are brand new, still in the box. So I was going to put whatever it needed in there so we can have a nice, good working, no leaking H1C. So with that being, we cleaned off the compressor or the backing plate and the edges real well, but I'm going to clean out the compressor housing as well, and I will show you that to you guys because that's very oily. I don't even want to see what the intake looks like, but we might unbolt it and show you just so you can get a look. But whenever you're assembling turbos, obviously I'm not fully assembling a rebuild and everything, but whenever you do this, you want to have some oil. So whether it's just an oil gun, or I've got a little quart of oil down there with a cap, and I just fill the cap with oil and kind of set some of the rings down in there and stuff like that I want to be oiled up, and then we're good to go here. This is oiled, and yeah. So right now I'm going to clean up the edges around here. This is obviously not any sort of actual rebuild. This is just swap these bearings housings out because the other one was broken. This is not a legit rebuild, not something I would do. I would clean everything way better than this, but I'm just going to put it together. So I'm going to clean up around here where it's at, and then clean our new bearing housing and get it all oiled up. And I mean, everything in here looks pretty good. It ran well whenever it was on the truck. It did just fine. So we're just going to clean it up and throw it on here. But I don't believe I'm missing any O-rings or anything, and I found a gasket to put on the oil drain. The only thing I might be short is an oil drain bolt because I don't know where the other one went. So that might be a reason we don't get to start it tonight, but I will go get a new one of those if need be. So we're going to keep assembling this thing and hopefully be done here in a few minutes. Alright guys, so I've got the 60mm turbine wheel out of the old one. I just decided to go ahead and use it, and I put a new oil deal on this as well, so hopefully this thing is leak free. The shaft, I mean, it looks pretty good. There's no crazy coloration. You can't see any heat marks. You can tell where the bearings were riding, but as for some of the stuff I've pulled out that's been blue and like all different colors of the freaking rainbow, that you can tell it's got really hot and overspun. This one actually looks really good. Like, I mean, this was owned by a farmer. This truck was, and I mean the pump, all the tamper-proof caps are still on. I mean, this truck basically did its job for the past 27, 8, 9, 30, I don't even know how many years, and it's been doing it well. And I'm very shocked. If this turbo's never been gone through, this is pretty freaking awesome. This is impressive. So all I'm going to do is put that new piece on, which I already did. I got it oiled up as well. I don't know if you guys can see that. Got some oil in there, moved it around. Good to go there. Looks good. So I'm going to pop the other one out real quick. I'm going to keep you guys on right now. I don't know how much room I've got left on the GoPro, but I can't do this with one hand, I guess. That shaft looks awesome too. That's impressive. Okay, so really this is pretty dirty, so I'm gonna brake clean this off. I got to keep my O-ring over here. We need that. And I am getting a call, so we're gonna have to hold on a sec. All right, cameraman Colton called me. We were just talking about his square body, but yeah, I got this thing. We got the front side all cleaned up. We're gonna clean out the back side. I want to get all the gunk out of there that I can and everything that fell in there, because that's not good. But just kind of be careful. that's not too bad there. We are ready, I think. Well, I thought we were. What the hell was that? Some shop air would probably do the trick. I don't know what I'm doing, but we're just gonna leave that thing be. It looks pretty clean. Once we get some oil running through there, it'll be better. But let's put our new shaft, or I don't know, resealed shaft. Don't forget the oil deflector, kids. Or slinger deflector. Don't know what it's called. Gavin's still learning. That piece. Need that piece. Alright, now this is a key part. You don't want to just shove this thing in here because that little new piece we just put on, that can get messed up pretty easily. So you really want to kind of push and twist. It'll eventually go in there. Sometimes not even whenever you're not even trying and it just falls in. It has to snap in. It feels like it's starting to go. There we go. So just spin it a couple times and it snaps down in there. I cleaned that out so it's pretty dry right now. So what I'm going to do is put some oil down the inlet and kind of spin this thing and make sure the bearings are lubed up. That's just a big thing when you're assembling turbos. This is not the right way to rebuild a turbo, like I've said. Do not take this as, this is my rebuild. I go way more in depth with the rebuild. This is just to put on the truck so the truck will run. And it's my truck. I don't even care. So we're going to put some oil in here and get it all oiled up. That's a big key component of all this. So I'm going to put this in the vise and we'll get some oil over here. Alright, got you guys back on now, which no time has really passed since. We just got these bolts threaded in. So we're just going to tighten this stuff up. Just a little info for you guys here. You can get a lot of this stuff to rebuild on TurboLab. He has good quality parts, some upgraded stuff, as not even as far as upgrades as in performance, but in a way, yes. Like he has an upgraded H1C rebuild kit and an upgraded HX35 and HX40 and HE351. He's got upgraded rebuild kits, so you see how I should explain this. The oiling ports and everything, they're a little bit bigger and there's a little bit more of them, so you're getting better oiling action. In performance application, one that's bigger than stock, that is 100% recommended. So that's just something I thought I'd share with you. So as far as rebuild kits, I always get them from TurboLab, but Brad at Savage Fab, he offers a DIY kit as far as assembly goes for upgraded parts. So if you ask him, he can send you the right stuff if you have the knowledge. If not, he can do it for you and just build your turbo like he did mine. Now that I've got a little bit of knowledge, I'll probably have him send me the DIY kit for a Super 9 whenever the time comes, since I've still got my big 67mm compressor and I've got a 67mm turbine. But the stock fuel non-intercooled first gen is not going to have the fuel for that. So, alright, that is pretty snug. I like it. It's sitting pretty good. No complaints there. Oh boy. I might have messed something up. I don't know. That feels pretty tight. I don't like that. Might need some oil. Could be that. I don't know. I think we need to oil it up a little bit more and we will be good to go. I don't know. It's not super hard to turn, but it's harder than it should be. So I'm gonna put some more oil through this thing, and because really we didn't touch anything, everything is assembled right. So I think it's just a little bit dry from the brake clean. Usually I fully oil all these things before I even, I don't know, especially before I assemble them. So usually everything's lubed up, and right now bearings are a little dry. So we'll oil this thing up and see what it does. All right, so about 5 minutes later, as I was backing these bolts out, I'd realized what I had done. I put that little piece on the wrong side of the oil slinger. So that little piece, we put the little O-ring or C-ring, I don't even know what you call it, put that thing around. That was on the wrong side, and after I started thinking about it and realized what I'd done, I realized it was the wrong way. You can see now we're good to go, but yeah, I don't know why I did that. I guess shows that everybody makes mistakes. Even though I've messed with these before, I don't know what was going through my head there. Heck, you probably even saw it on camera whenever I did it, and you're probably like, Gavin, what are you doing? But yeah, trying to hurry up and get this thing assembled. Got a couple quizzes I need to go take. It's Friday night. It's a great day to have all of our quizzes. They're all due at 11:59. It's like 11 right now, so we're going to see how smart I really am, which is not very smart. So really like to get this video to you guys tonight. So we got that bad boy in. Let's put our compressor wheel on. This baby, little 50 millimeter. Not something I want to do, but it is what it is. Let's see. Here's our nut. Remember, turbos are reverse thread. Just keep that in mind. I need to put it up here in order to tighten it. And the torque spec on these is only like 7 foot-pounds. So keep all that in mind. Well, I don't know what's happening here. Doesn't spin. That's odd. We need some oil. Alright, so this one is going to be continued for tomorrow's shop update / work day. I don't know. This bearing housing could have been sitting long enough that something got in the bearings and is causing it not to want to spin freely. But as you can see, and I could have done something wrong too. So this is, instead of rushing it, I'm going to wait till tomorrow and pull it back apart and take a look at it. But you can see it spins very freely. And then the second I somewhat put any tension on this nut, it is now not spinning freely. So like I said, I probably did something wrong, got something where it shouldn't be, something like that. It happens, it is what it is. So we're going to wait till tomorrow, pull this thing back apart, look at it. If it needs new bearings, I've got some and I will throw those in. Might need a new thrust bearing or something, or I'll use everything in that other bearing housing looks very good, so we might just swap it all out. But yeah, it could have been set long enough, got some dust in it, and the bearings aren't happy. It is what it is. Anything could have happened. So we are going to get after that tomorrow. Hopefully finish that up in the morning while it's raining, and then after it rains, hopefully we'll have all of our stuff from Orscheln's, so we can keep sanding the truck and finish sanding it, and then wire wheel it, and we might be painting the frame tomorrow. So we'll find out how much progress we make, but we might just be wire wheeling. I don't know. But we're going to get some work done on the first gen. So for your Friday shop update, that's going to be it. We will be right back with you tomorrow here on the Old School Crew for another good one, hopefully. So until then, we will see you guys later. Have a good one.